When a medical emergency strikes, you are stripped of all your leverage. You cannot simply walk away from the negotiation table. The economic reality of healthcare is uniquely cruel. When survival is on the line, people will drain their savings and sell their land to meet the asking price. Right now, in the Saharsa district, private hospitals and doctors are actively exploiting this baseline vulnerability. They levy arbitrary, exorbitant fees on desperate patients who have nowhere else to turn. In local terms, this is manmani. It is a localized monopoly, where providers dictate their own terms entirely detached from the actual costs. Private healthcare in Saharsa now functions as a machine for financial extortion. In a functioning democracy, there is a social contract designed to prevent this exact abuse. This flowchart shows the social contract. Citizens elect leaders who wield regulatory power over private industry to intervene against exploitation. But in Saharsa, this protective layer is completely missing. Without political oversight, corporate greed crushes families directly. 2 men were specifically elected to protect the interests of this district: Member of Parliament Dinesh Chandra Yadav and Member of Legislative Assembly I.P. Gupta. Both of these leaders are conspicuously silent on the healthcare crisis. Neither has stepped forward to demand that private medical entities lower their fees for the public. In politics, inaction is an action. Choosing not to intervene when your constituents are being drained financially serves as a tacit endorsement of the exploitation. By staying quiet, these representatives remove any fear of consequence for the private doctors. The monopoly thrives because the providers know nobody is coming to stop them. The medical bills crushing Saharsa's families today are the direct product of leaders prioritizing hospital owners over their own constituents. It is easy for politicians to claim they are thinking about the welfare of the Saharsa public during campaign rallies. However, the definitive proof of political care is measurable action that protects a citizen's livelihood. If a leader genuinely cared about this district, the required action is obvious. They would stand directly among the public and aggressively force a reduction in these private medical fees. This bar chart compares the brutal reality of local expenses against political rhetoric. We see a typical monthly household income completely dwarfed by an arbitrarily high private medical bill. Without intervention, this financial gap consumes savings, pushing working families deep into systemic poverty. A politician who observes this specific economic drain and refuses to fight it has entirely abandoned the people they took an oath to serve. The people of Saharsa can no longer afford to wait around hoping the political establishment will suddenly grow a conscience. Because the elected leaders have abdicated their responsibilities, the burden of forcing accountability now falls entirely on the citizens. Unchecked private power rarely self-corrects. It only yields when it collides with undeniable, highly unified public outrage. Local politicians will only discover the courage to confront the medical establishment when they realize their voters are aggressively confronting them. The first strategic step to break this silence is to bypass the politicians entirely and build an undeniable public record of the exploitation. This map of the Saharsa district shows how granular, localized data acts as our primary weapon. As individual reports of overcharging collect, they coalesce into a solid heat map that exposes the monopoly's arbitrary pricing. We are crowdsourcing this investigation right now, and we need every viewer living in the Saharsa district to prepare their records. Go into the comments of this video right now. Tell us exactly how much private doctors and hospitals are charging you for basic care and specific procedures. Forcing these real numbers out into the open is the required first step for the people to reclaim control over Saharsa's healthcare system.